People need to realize the only reason why it's illegal is because of economics. It's because there's like 1,000 different things that marijuana would fix that pharmaceutical drugs right now are prescribed for. And it would cost the pharmaceutical companies billions and billions of dollars every year. If marijuana was made illegal, it would cost alcohol companies. When you see those commercials, like those the talking dog, the pot commercial, those are sponsored by Partnership for a Drug-Free America. Partnership for a Drug-Free America is funded by alcohol companies. It's hilarious. Alcohol's a drug.
Do it. Do it.
Wow. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of Blunt Talk Radio on the TSRN. Well, what you guys just heard there is a clip from an interview with Joe Rogan. For those of you that have been living under a rock for your whole life and don't know who Joe Rogan is, he's a comedian. He is a commentator for the UFC. He was the host on Fear Factor. He's written books. Multi-talented gentleman. And you know, that was just a strong, powerful message about how things really are, you know, with people lobbying against medical marijuana or recreational marijuana. Of course, this week I'm also joined by my homeboy and co-host, Stitch. Say hi to everybody out there, Stitch.
How you doing? Glad to be here.
This guy, if you don't know, is a plethora. That's right, I said plethora. You might not have heard that.
$5 word.
You haven't heard that word since the Three Amigos back in the late 80s and stuff like that. But he's a plethora of information. He is awesome as far as getting research. You haven't heard that word since the Three Amigos back in the late 80s and stuff like that. In Joe Rogan's interview, he was saying about how a lot of these commercials and these war on drug, movements are done by places like, alcohol and, big tobacco and places like that. And we actually got a list. Actually, Stitch, of course, he like I said, he is my research guy. He has gotten us top 5 groups lobbying against pot. First, we got police unions. Police departments across the country have become dependent on federal drug war grants to finance their budget. In March, there was a story published revealing that the police union lobbyists in California coordinated the effort to defeat Proposition 19, a ballot measured in 2010 to legalize marijuana, while helping his police department clients collect tens of millions in federal marijuana eradication grants. And it's not just in California. Federal lobbying disclosures show that other police union lobbyists have pushed for stiffer penalties for marijuana-related crimes nationwide. So these police unions are profiting off of locking people up for marijuana charges.
Isn't that insane? I would have guessed that police would be on top of the list of people lobbying against it, but not for the money.
Oh, well, and let me get something straight right here, right now. When we're talking about this and corrupt the police department, let me get this straight. We're not out here to, defame the police department or be those kind of people like that, because there are some good cops out there. But, you're finding that, these police unions, or so to speak, are collecting, tens of thousands of dollars off of locking people up like that.
Well, I wouldn't go so much with the unions as the administrators. Unions, that's the blue collar labor guy. He's taking orders. But if you look at the research, you'll find, especially here in Florida, that there is a culture of this sort of corruption going on in the police force, in the sheriff's department, from the top on down.
Yeah, it's really ridiculous. Like some of the things that they do and the illegal activity that a lot of times, some of these forces are the criminals themselves.
Absolutely.
But you can't argue with them because they're the law and they'll lock you up if you do. Another thing that we spoke about. Before we get on to the next group of lobbyists, I wanted to mention that your main concern with our talks out here is the legalization of medical marijuana.
Right.
And I'm definitely all for that as well. My concern is us wasting so much money as a state, and locking people up, jailing them, taking them away from their families, fining them, making them go to classes, paying this, paying that, curfews, all this stuff. over some pot charges.
And that's really a problem for everybody. Not just the people that smoke pot, but like you said, it hurts their families. It hurts society. Some of these people run businesses, and all of a sudden they're not there anymore because they got caught smoking a joint.
Yeah, it's really ridiculous, but we're going to go more into that a little bit later on in the show. Here's another group of lobbyists. These people are lobbying as well. Private prison corporations. Private prison corporations make millions by incarcerating people who have been in prison for drug crimes, including marijuana. Would you believe that?
Oh, yeah. What's crazy is privatization of prisons to begin with. Turning incarcerating people into a profit-making corporation just doesn't sound like that's what's best for the people, does it?
Well,
I mean, doesn't that give all the more incentive to build more prisons, store more prisoners? It becomes a market now, a meat market.
Well, think about it. These places are called correctional facilities, highlighting that word correctional. So it's supposed to be almost a form of rehabilitation, But realistically, all they do is take you in there, they embarrass you, they make you feel bad about yourself,
and they warehouse you.
Yeah, and they warehouse you. It's just a cattle call,
Yes.
Herd them in and herd them out. And if you do this, then we'll put you in solitary. They don't care. They don't care if we're rehabilitated because hell, the more we come back, the more money they make.
Right. If they really wanted to rehabilitate criminals, they'd give them an education while they're in there. They would send them out with a skill.
And the sad part is too, as far as that goes with the education and stuff like that. When I have friends that have been in prison and stuff like that, and they would have nonviolent crimes, which would be drug charges. Well, that means they can work outside the gate for free. So what does that do? That brings the money to the prisons.
Absolutely.
So they have to work outside the gates. Now, you're people that probably shouldn't be messed up in society. You're people that are your child touchers, violent offenders, and stuff like that. They're the ones getting able to go to the schools. They're the ones getting the special privileges and stuff like that. While the guys with less charges, we got to go out and do the hard labor.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's just really weird how that works. But of course, you can't be surprised knowing that the prisons profit off of this.
Well, you mentioned that. Just so happens that I was part of that little scheme for about 6 years. I had a drug charge back in 2000, back in Michigan, and became part of the system. And they would, here's a real good money scheme. When you walk in the prison doors, they get $35,000 from the federal government to house you. And if they release you the same year on parole and violate you and bring you back in the system within the same 12-month period, they get another $35,000 for you for that year. But between the time that they're doing that, they put you in these programs, these work release programs like you're talking about. That's the first step when you violate parole, is going to one of these programs where they send you out on work release and you go work at a golf course, raking leaves, doing lawns, picking up garbage, cleaning parks, doing things that the county or it's usually the county or the state. No, the state's in on it too. They're getting paid for your services.
Well, I mean, the problem is a lot of these people are in there for marijuana charges, for smoking, for possession, even for a little bit of sales or something like that, I mean,
even child support.
Yeah. I mean, it's really ridiculous how much these prisons really profit off of stuff like this.
Oh, absolutely. It's a money go round system. And when you're in the prison system, they keep you moving from place to place. That's how they adjust the number of beds. The more people they can keep on a bus, on the road, the less beds they're full. Those people don't count on their system, so they keep them on the road.
Yeah, that's just messed up. Let's just get back to this too. Like what Joe Rogan was saying in his earlier interview, he's saying alcohol and beer companies are some major lobbyists against pot. You know, they're developing these commercials and whatnot. Fearing competition for the dollars Americans spend on leisure, alcohol, and tobacco interests have lobbied to keep marijuana out of reach. For instance, the California Beer and Beverage Distributors contributed campaign to a committee set up to prevent marijuana from being legalized and taxed.
Wow, there's a surprise.
You know, that's the thing, you know, legalized and taxed. I mean, you could tax this product.
Well, the part I was being sarcastic about was the fact that those people are against marijuana.
Well, of course.
They stand to lose a lot. That's basically like our addiction to oil. We don't have to still be using oil. We could already have our electronic Jetson space car by now, but the oil companies have kept production back, and the lobbyists are keeping those sorts of things from happening. Things that would be good for us would be bad for their business. So they would rather control how much we get of our new technology and when we get it. And they're doing the same thing with this. They have plenty to lose. If marijuana were to become legal, who would go out and get drunk and take a chance getting a DUI on the way home?
Right.
If they didn't have to do that.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, people aren't going to, like, magically stop drinking alcohol because pot is legal.
Oh,
you know
no.
what I mean? I like to have a couple drinks from time to time, you know what I mean? But it's surely going to reduce things like
Absolutely.
that.
And I'm not against alcohol in any way. I used to be a very good drinker myself, and I love my alcohol, but it would definitely cut into the profits.
Yeah, well, we got to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to be talking more about these lobbying extremists. We're also going to be talking about some of the corrupt laws as it pertains to jailing people over marijuana charges here in the state of Florida. We're also going to be talking about our upcoming event we're really excited about. It's on 420 at Skinny's Bar and Grill in Hudson. We're going to be doing a live radio broadcast. It's going to be really awesome. So stick around, guys. We'll be back at you with more Blunt Talk Radio on the TSRN.
Let me ask you a question. Are you getting enough? I bet you'd love more, right? Well, AdamandEve.com wants to give you more with 10 free gifts. First, you'll get a sexy surprise for her. Second, a specially selected toy for him. And third, a little something we know you'll both enjoy. Plus, you'll get 6 full-length adult movies on DVD. And number 10, free shipping on your entire order. So what do you have to do to get you 10 free gifts? It's not hard. Just go to AdamandEve.com and select any one item. It could be an adventurous new toy, sexy piece of lingerie, or anything you desire. Just enter offer code GIFT13 at checkout, and you'll get all 10 free gifts. Go check out AdamandEve.com today. Select one item and get 10 free gifts, including free shipping, when you enter offer code GIFT13. That's GIFT 13 at AdamandEve.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-441-3678 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-441-3678 to take your call now. Call 1-800-441-3678. That's 1-800-441-3678. Again, 1-800-441-3678.
Good evening, friends. We are back with more Blunt Talk Radio on the TSRN. I'm Sideshow, along with my co-host Stitch over here. If you don't know by now, our show is advocating the legalization of medical and as far as I'm concerned, recreational marijuana. Also, we've been talking a lot on this program specifically how we can't stand how the state of Florida wastes so much tax dollars and ruins people's lives over marijuana charges. And it's just really ridiculous in this state. Actually, if you guys would like to join the cause, feel free to hashtag Team Sideshow. That's going to be on your Instagram, your Twitter, your Facebook, your Snapchat, anywhere you can, as a matter of fact. We're really going to try to push forward with this and try to better the state of Florida. I mean, we don't need to be locking people up over this kind of stuff.
No, we definitely need to get more progressive in this state.
You have a hard time with that word?
Spit that one out. Progressive, yeah, there we go.
Yeah, we seem like we are behind. Before we went to the break, we were talking about the top 5 lobbyist groups. We talked about the police unions. We talked about the private prison corporations. Like Joe Rogan said on our opening clip that we had of him doing an interview, big alcohol and beer companies that are actually lobbying against it because, of course, we were talking about how that would cut into their profit. Like I said, before the break, is it going to stop people from drinking altogether? No, but you're going to definitely see a serious decline in alcohol sales.
Yeah, if you look at what's going on in Colorado, which is what America is looking at as the base for all future marijuana laws, because they're the first to do it recreationally and tax it, and they are a huge success story. All of the bad things that they thought were going to happen didn't happen, and crime has gone down. Basic crime has gone down 10%, and homicides have gone down 20%.
And that's just the beginning. I mean, this is like new to Colorado. This isn't something that's been going on for years and years and years.
Right.
This is the new to Colorado. So I'm willing to bet any amount of money that in the years to come, the crime will go down even more.
Correct. Another thing they predicted that was going to be bad was that everybody was going to get high, sit on the couch, and not go to work. Instead, they've created 10,000 private sector jobs.
And that's just a bunch of, I'm just going to go out there and I'm going to speak a little French. That's a bunch of horse shit, okay? Because you know what? I'm a very functional pothead. I go to the gym. I do mud runs. I work my ass off. It's just a matter of if you're lazy, you're just lazy. That's all there is to it.
That's a fact, because they're not giving this stuff away.
It's so easy for someone to say, "Oh, well, I'm stoned, so I don't feel like." No, you're just lazy. And you don't feel like doing it.
Well, and those are the people that are lobbying against us. The people that think that we're just sitting around, getting stoned, eating pizza, watching or playing video games, and not being productive members of society. But when you look at the numbers, when people finally start coming out of the closet, you might say, with the fact that they smoke, people from every walk of life are using marijuana, whether it's for pain or anxiety or recreational use.
And two, as an adult, okay, we all know that no matter what it is, anything in excess or, if you don't regulate the use of anything in life, you know what I mean, then of course, me personally, I'm not going to smoke a joint before I go to the gym. Now, after that's a different story. Not because I won't do it, just because I'd rather not be high while I'm working out. I have a friend, or one of my best friends, he smokes every time before he goes to the gym, before he goes running sprints. He actually remodels homes and does a beautiful job, and he smokes during the day. Now, me personally, I'm not much of a handy-dandy fixer-upper kind of guy, so I'm definitely wouldn't do something like that. But other things that people wouldn't, normally be able to do high, like talk on a microphone, you know what I mean? I can do that. So, everybody has to know their limits, and everybody's a little bit different, you know what I mean? So
absolutely, and like you said in the beginning of that, anything can be misused. Even aspirin, they've found if you use too much of it, it'll ruin your stomach lining. So it's not about, is there a way to make this bad? Of course. You can make anything bad if you want to make it bad. But if used correctly, it helps you focus.
Absolutely. And we were talking about, like I said, police unions, private prison corporations, and alcohol and beer companies. Another lobbyist is actual prison guard unions. Prison guard unions have a vested interest in keeping people behind bars, just like for-profit prison companies. In 2008, the California Correctional Peace Officers Association spent a whopping $1 million. $1 million to defeat a measure that would have reduced sentences and parole times for nonviolent drug offenders while emphasizing drug treatment over prison.
It's amazing that you mentioned that, because I was just reading a story today about corrupt prison guards and the tens of thousands of dollars they were making off of these inmates smuggling drugs into the prisons for.
You go to jail, and you find out that, you become more of a criminal in jail, because if you pay off the prisoners pay off the guards, the prisoners pay off the guards, then the next thing you know what I mean? They're getting drugs in there just as well, which may very well be what the prisoners are in there for to begin with.
Here it is, right
there
here.
You are. All right. I knew I counted you. You're my boy, Blue.
Oh, my gosh. This particular case, let's see. Is this the Miami case? All right, let me just go right off. This is something I got off the internet. Miami Division, state correction officers and others charged in drug trafficking scheme. Okay, this is from the U.S. State's Attorney's Office, February 11th, 2010. St. Lucia County Sheriff's Office announced the federal indictment of 16 individuals in connection with the long-term undercover corruption investigation involving Florida state prison guards. During the investigation, FBI undercover agents represented to the defendants that they were members of a purported drug trafficking group interested in having the defendants protect and facilitate the undercover agents' drug trafficking operation in exchange for cash payments. According to the indictment, the defendants agreed to use their position and status as correction officers to protect and facilitate the purported drug activities of undercover agents. Thereafter, the defendants allegedly agreed to transport, and did in fact transport on multiple occasions, what they believed to be multi-kilo quantities of cocaine from the undercover warehouse in Miami-Dade County to locations in West Palm Beach. Specifically, the indictment alleges that 9 separate episodes in which the defendants transported the purported cocaine from Miami-Dade County to locations in Palm Beach, being in September 2008 and continuing through November 2009. In exchange for transporting and protecting the purported cocaine, the defendants allegedly received the following cash payments from the undercover agents. I won't read the names, but the first guy here got $33,000. The next one got $10,000. The next one, $19,000. Then another one for $10,000. Another fella got $12,000. This one only got $10,500. Another $10,000. Another $10,500. Another one for $5,000, $5,000, $5,000, $5,000, $5,000. Oh, there's a lot of these 5,000 guys. $5,000, $5,000, $5,000, and $5,000. That's a lot of money.
That is a lot of money. And the key word is too. It's not even marijuana. It's cocaine. And they're trafficking it. I mean, transporting it from.
And these are the people that are lobbying against marijuana. These same corrections officers groups that are doing this sort of thing, they want to be in charge. They want to keep it illegal so that they can make more money.
It's all about the money.
Absolutely.
You notice that in all these lobbyists here, they stand to lose money
Exactly.
by this. But they're not thinking of the nation as a whole and people as a whole. They're just thinking about their own personal selves. Is what
Exactly.
it is.
I have heard a few sheriff. I don't remember which one it was, so I'm not going to quote it. But there are a couple of sheriffs that do believe that. They know it's going to happen in 2016, and they don't think it's going to be a bad thing. And they're looking forward to the possibility of getting on with real crime and taking this off of their list of things that they have to take care of. Should they be babysitting potheads when they could be out looking for real criminals?
It's so true. It's so true, and that's just the corruptness that we were talking about today. Also, the final one I wanted to mention on the lobbying groups. The final one, of course, this is no surprise. We talked about this, I think, on our very first full-length episode, was pharmaceutical corporations. Why the hell would you need marijuana if you bought from them? Well, because I think marijuana, and I know that marijuana is a safer aspect, but they don't want you to buy their marijuana. They want you to buy their synthetic, in-lab, made products.
Well, they've already got that in place. They've already got the patents. They've already got the factories, and they've already got people hooked. So why would they want to have to switch gears and go to something that they don't know that they're going to be the king of?
Well, what they want to do is they want to keep marijuana legal, so America don't have the option of cheap medical alternatives.
Exactly
to their products. That's what it is.
During the break, I was just watching a video on that, and shows exactly how the government is keeping us hooked on these prescription pills instead of giving us the option of using medical marijuana.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, we're going to take another quick break. What we're going to do when we come back, we're going to talk, of course, more on that event that we're doing, 420 at Skinny's Bar and Grill in Hudson. We're also going to be talking about the failure of the war on drugs and lots more coming from Blood Talk Radio. I'm Sideshow. This is Stitch. We're on the TSRN, and we'll be right back at you.
Damn! All you do is smoke weed.
And we are back on Blunt Talk Radio on the TSRN. I'm Sideshow along with my boy Stitch. We've been talking this whole episode about a lot of statistics of lobbyists lobbying against use of medical marijuana that are actually try to stop us from passing this bill. We're also talking about some of the corruptness out there in the laws today. And we're also going to be talking a little bit about that 420 event we're going to be doing at Skinny's Bar and Grill. It's going to be really exciting. But first, let's get back to what we were saying. We were talking about the five lobbyists that, against this. I'm trying to find my paperwork here. But I remember it was the police union. It was the prison union, it was the prison guards union, as well as alcohol and beer companies and big pharmaceutical companies. Going through all this, we spend so much on the war on drugs. As a matter of fact, annually in the U.S., the war on drugs has been more than $51 billion.
Wow.
That's annually. That's every year we're spending that kind of money on the war on drugs. Now, do I think certain things should be regulated? Sure. I don't think everybody should be able to walk around and, in the street smoking crack or anything. You know what I mean? I sure as hell don't think that, people should be using and abusing prescription medication, stuff like that. But, as far as you have to figure out how that $51 billion every year, how much we're really spending on marijuana charges.
Yeah, a lot of that money is being totally wasted, and even the federal government recognizes that. Now would probably be a good time to bring up this article that I was telling you about earlier that I read in the Tampa Bay Times, where President Obama commuted the sentence of 22 federal prisoners. And I'm just going to go ahead and read this straight from the article. President Barack Obama on Tuesday shortened the prison sentences of 22 drug convicts, including 8 serving life in prison. In an act, the White House said continues Obama's push to make the justice system fairer by reducing harsh sentences that were handed down under outdated guidelines. These are old crimes, outdated guidelines. The effort could lead Obama to grant clemency more often as his second and final term in office winds down. In December, Obama issued his first round of commutations under new guidelines that were put in place to cut costs. Right there, to cut costs by reducing the growing prison population and grant leniency to non-violent drug offenders sentenced to years-long prison terms of confinement away from society. A commutation leaves the conviction in place, so they're still convicted. They're not being let go. They're not pardoned. It still leaves the conviction in place, but it ends the punishment. They've already served enough time. It says that most of these people under the new policies would already have been released. And out of those people, out of the 22 people whose federal sentences will be cut and shortened by Obama's action, they've already served their time, paid their debt to society, and out of these, there were several from Florida. I won't bring. Are we going to mention their names, Lou? Did we decide we can mention the names?
You can. You can.
All right. I'm going to mention these heroes' names. Welcome back home if you're already back. David Navajar of Brooksville, Harold Kenneth Herring of Havana, Ricky Bernard Coggins of Tallahassee, and Teresa Brown of Pompano Beach. Congratulations on your freedom.
Yeah, that's another thing that we should be hashtagging too, like, hashtag Free Florida. We should be letting these people out because from someone that, I'm not bragging about this by any means, but someone who's been through the system before, they house you up while you're going through classification. They house you up with, murderers and rapists and sex offenders. Meanwhile, you've got, a drug charge, a nonviolent drug charge. And you're mixed in with these people that they're going to be serving life sentences, double life sentences, and they don't care about you. And they sure as hell don't want to hear that you only got a year.
Absolutely not. No.
You know what I mean?
We don't want to talk about that.
I'm all for that, and that's kind of funny though. From Brooksville, that's like not even an hour away from us right now.
Right.
This stuff that's happening right around here, and even though this is what I'm trying to get out. Even Barack Obama, who is not really popular in the nation's eye right now, even he is deciding that this is bullshit. It's total BS. Why are we keeping these people in prison? For nonviolent charges like this. It's just a waste of money.
And that's what it's all about, the money.
Lou says we're out of time. Lou, I've barely even scratched the surface with this. We still want to talk a little bit on the war on drugs. We definitely got to plug the Skitties event. Can we get a little more time?
We can run as long as we want, and as long as you guys got material to talk about, we can go.
Ain't that something?
Wow.
I love how stuff like that works out for you, huh?
I hope you brought your PJs.
No, they're right inside, so don't sweat it. I'll get back to you guys. Keep going with the show.
All right. Well, that sounds good. That's good news. So Barack Obama is releasing these people. So that speaks volumes about what we're doing as a country, slowly but surely. But of course, Florida has to be the one that's behind everybody else.
Way behind the times. And you know what? I got something on that too.
Do you? Go ahead.
Here's another article fresh out of Tampa Bay Times. Thank you, Tampa Bay Times, for all this wonderful material you've been giving me. We actually had senators trying to pass a lightweight bill for the Charlotte's Web strain of marijuana to help some of the kids that are really suffering out there. And the latest effort was put through by State Senator Jeff Brand. And valiant effort, but guess what? They shot it dead, let it sit on the floor, and didn't pass it. So the deadline is passed for the Senate to do something. and it's going to end up moving on to the 2016 ballot, which, by the way, we're already underway trying to get the petitions. Petition drive is already out there. Already got over 50,000 petitions just from volunteers. And, of course, we're getting ready to turn it up. So instead of the non-euphoric Charlotte's Web marijuana that the legislature was going to put in place, actually, they've already legalized it. Let me get back to that. Skip right over that. They already passed the law for Charlotte's Web in 2014, but they can't decide who the 5 lucky farmers are that are going to be able to dispense it. Isn't that ridiculous? That's another article from the Tampa Bay Times where they're arguing over who's going to get the farming rights. Under the existing law, the farmer has to have been in continuous existence for 30 years and grow 400,000 or more plants to be eligible for this license. And guess what? That counts out 90% of the black farmers here in Florida because they weren't allowed to own the land right that long ago, right? So they didn't have as big of farms, and they're getting cut out of this, and it's being turned into a racist issue. How about that? We're going to flip it from being a medical marijuana issue to being a racist agriculture issue.
We sure need more of that here in America, don't we?
Correct.
It just... now these people that are passing these laws and stuff like that, these are our quote unquote leaders. These are our people we're supposed to look up to. These are the people controlling the company, controlling the economy, controlling all this.
Careful, you're really getting into a touchy subject with me because I know a cure for that.
Go ahead.
Vote.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But, that's...
The one thing that amazes me is in Congress, you have a 90% reelection rate with a 10% approval rate.
Isn't that ridiculous?
And no term limits set. So that's where we really need to start as Congress. Set terms for these guys. Get these guys out of there. They don't need to spend 65 years sitting in the same chair. Sorry, I had to throw that in there.
No, I'm glad you did. Yeah. That's something I feel very passionate about, too. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing that we can do about any of these laws until we address that fact and get these same boobs that have been in there for 60 years kissing the same butts. Yep. Get them the heck out of there. It's time for the new generation to get out and vote and change government. We have the ability, we the people, if we get off our collective butts, can take this country back.
Great saying, united we stand, divided we fall. United we vote, and we will not fall.
Yeah, Lou, I'm really glad you interjected right there and was saying about people, in those chairs for 65 years because, people that have been doing this for 65 years, they're going to be set in their way. They were brought up,
and that's the problem.
They were brought up in a certain way with certain morals, certain values, certain laws, and stuff like that. And a lot of these people don't want that change. They don't. They're used. They're creatures of habit. So what happens when the times change? The people that are in Congress, they still are set in their ways and in the way they want to do things.
A lot of what happens, and this is my opinion, it's like an asshole, everybody's got one. A lot of what I know of what happens, what I believe happens is they've been in there so long that their pockets are so lined by the people that are keeping them there and keeping their approval rates there, all right, that it's those same people that we want out because they're the people that are against everything that we're trying to move forward with these days. So it's just a really vicious cycle when it comes to the whole system.
Yeah, it really is. And I actually heard a politician trip over his own tongue during an interview one time and admit that the number one priority is re-election.
They don't care about nothing else but getting themselves reelected, and that's where that 90% reapproval rate comes in. With a 10% of the people approve of our congressman.
Yep. If you don't, one of the big problems with that too, in my opinion, is midterm elections. Nobody shows up for midterm election. That's when a lot of these turds get in.
Yeah. Well, the first thing we definitely have to do is set term limits. And then, just like you said, Mike, we need to get that new generation in, those younger people, our age, the now thinkers, not the yesterday thinkers. The yesterday's thinkers, that way don't work anymore. It just doesn't work in this world anymore.
Well, fresh minds in there, fresh points of views,
Absolutely.
in a fresh new world that we're living in. It seems like at least every 10 years the world changes drastically.
Yeah.
I mean, now as I've gotten older, I've even noticed
So much where you can't even keep up anymore.
Yes, evolution.
In 5 years, it's like what
What happened?
What happened? Yeah, I mean, it's totally a different world out there. So we need those new people with new ideas, with new plans, with new bills, with new amendments, and they need to take more advice from the people. But like you said, Stitch, that the people need to get out there and vote.
Exactly.
Get out there and vote.
Exactly. Why are we going to let people that haven't been to school, haven't refreshed their education in the last 30 years, why are we going to let them continue to run our country in the ground, especially when they're doing a terrible job of it? How many economic crises do we have to go through, and how many banks do we have to bail out before we realize that we've got to try something different?
Yeah. I totally agree. Going back to the what we were saying before about the war on drugs and stuff like that, I think we need to take a total different approach to that nowadays. You know what I mean? Now that we know the benefits of medical marijuana, and we also, to a certain extent, also know that even in a recreational aspect, it's not a terrible thing.
No, absolutely not. The reason that marijuana got thrown in with the war on drugs is because of the sheer number of people that smoke it. They were the easiest to find, the easiest to bust. They could show instant success. Nobody really cared about the fact that they were smoking pot. They would rather be going after the actual cartels. But the whole war on drugs, going from the bottom up, trying to bust the user and make a dent in the profits of the dealer is just ridiculous. That's like Walmart's losing a customer.
In 2013, get this, in 2013, the number of people arrested for marijuana law violations, get this is just in 1 year, 693,482 people. 693,482 people. That is a lot of people.
That is a disgusting number.
And
wow.
Of these people, 88% of these people were charged with only possession.
That's ridiculous.
So you're talking that, not even 90,000 people out of this, six figure, amount of people that got arrested are only, in sales or trafficking or whatnot. But possession, and you're going to arrest people and put them in jail for it?
Right. What they have, $10, $20 worth of pot, and it's going to cost them a $5,000, $10,000 lawyer to keep out of jail and not lose their job?
Well, yeah, of course, because lawyers and jails and judges are doing backflips over stuff like this.
And that's another thing that's ridiculous about the whole system to begin with. If you've got enough money, you can get off on a murder charge, for crying out loud.
You can pull an OJ, I'm sure.
Yeah.
If you got the money.
But, the regular average guy like us, they're going to bust our balls over a joint.
Sure. I read a post the other day, Mike, and Stitch, that it had something to do with the stars, and I can't even remember to quote it exactly, but it referenced how if you're a superstar, you get 3 weeks community service and you get a trip to a beautiful rehab if you know you get caught with a bag of weed. If you're the average citizen, they bust your door down, take your driver's license, cause you to lose your job, throw you in jail, put you on probation, and pretty much ruin your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of which, you just called me Mike.
No, I didn't. I said sideshow.
Yeah, it's okay. That's okay. Everybody out there pretty much listening probably right now probably knows who I am anyway, even though, like, I mean, that's like telling everybody, like,
I'm
Batman
bad
is
with that.
Bruce Wayne.
That's true. Yeah, I just blew your identity.
You called him
bro.
Stitch.
I did.
You guys, like, conspiring against me? Is that
Not me, no way.
It doesn't matter. All y'all.
Somehow that went south real fast.
That's what happens, you know what I mean?
Well, first live event that goes out the window anyway. So.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's going to be fun. Speaking of which, let's speak about our
I
very
can't
first
wait.
live event. This is really awesome. I work at a bar every other Wednesday night DJ, and it's called Skinny's Bar and Grill. It is in US 19 in Hudson, 13228 US 19 in Hudson, Florida, right here. Great place. Jay and Jen, the owners, amazing people, big advocates of Team Sideshow. Great people, like business-wise and friend-wise. I feel like, the time I've been working here, I've made some friends. And it's really great to see them totally open to this. They're actually having a 420 party. So I went to Jay and I said, what would you think about us doing a live broadcast of Blunt Talk Radio there and Talk Shit Radio Network and combine our efforts and have some fun? And he was all for it. And it's going to be a great show. Of course, it's on Monday, 420. Mm-hmm. It's going to be, once again, at Skinny's Bar and Grill, 13228 US 19 in Hudson. And there's going to be a live band there. They're called Bless Ed and the Divine Derelicts. They are a reggae, rock, ska kind of band. As a matter of fact, they just opened up for the Wailers, well-known band actually around here, at Janice Live in St. Pete. They've done a lot of national openings. I talked to Ed today, as a matter of fact. Great guy. Cool. He's a big advocate of everything. He wants to help us out. And of course, we're gonna plug him and help him out.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'm gonna plug him on Talk Shit Radio as well.
Actually, I'd like to get him on the show. He's a pretty cool
awesome.
dude.
Yeah.
We'll get him to call
Definitely.
in.
Yeah.
But they're going to be playing from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. Of course, you get there early, and the drink specials are amazing. They have some of the absolute best food on this side of the bay.
I'm looking forward to some oysters. I got to be honest with you.
The raw bar is amazing.
I haven't had good oysters since Long Island, so I'm really looking forward to it.
I love oysters. I could eat.
We're going to have the whole Talk Shit crew there. We're going to have the whole Blunt Talk Radio crew there. Mm-hmm. So we're going to have both of our shows there. All of Kennedy Studios, all of Talk Shit Radio is going to be there broadcasting. So I think it should be pretty fun.
Yeah, well, I'd like to invite every listener right now out there.
Absolutely.
Come support the cause. Come, great place to party, fun atmosphere, great food, great drinks. Come support us. Come out there. We'll get you out there dancing with the band. We'll get you. We actually have a lot of local
buy a
business.
T-shirt.
Huh?
Buy a T-shirt.
Buy a T-shirt.
Yeah, we're going to have some giveaways.
Yep. Support the Team Sideshow. Buy a Team Sideshow T-shirt. If you've already got a Team Sideshow T-shirt,
wear it.
Wear it.
Absolutely.
Please wear it. Support
I'll wear mine.
As a matter of fact, I expect everybody.
When I get it.
Oh, when? Did you see? I knew that what he was going to do, so that's why I just kind of just kept going on. Just kind of I didn't hear him say anything. Right. But no, we're gonna be doing the shirts, and I'll get you one. But don't worry about that. We're gonna be doing the shirts out there. I actually expect everybody that has a shirt to show up, unless you have to work or some act, that you can't make it 100%. If it's a Monday night, come out. Even if you come out for an hour, you know what I mean, and support and wear your T-shirt. But it's gonna be great. We're gonna be doing some giveaways. We got some local businesses involved in it. Family Fitness is giving away $200 worth of gift cards to come work out at their gym.
We've got some giveaways from Allure Hair Design as well, from what I see here. Yeah.
My homegirl Colleen, she was great.
Cool.
We probably got some like $80 worth of gift certificates that we're going to give away.
Cool.
We've got other businesses that are going to be on
I'm
board.
looking forward to the games we're going to play.
Yeah, we're gonna play some games. I know we're definitely going to play Are You Smarter Than a Stoner? It's going to be like a little trivia game. So I have a couple people in mind that are
Targets.
functioning.
I mean,
Functioning intelligent stoners, and we're going to see if the customers there
are smarter than them.
smarter than them. And that's going to be fun, and we'll be giving away prizes for that. Now, a little disclaimer, and of course they asked me at Skinny's, and this is just common sense. I really shouldn't have to spell it out to you. I would hope that all our listeners are intelligent
It is
enough.
a common sense issue.
But please do not come there and just like fire up a doob on premises or have stuff hanging out.
We
of your
live in
pocket.
Florida. It is still illegal.
Now, I'm not telling you that in between band sets you can't take a little drive around the block and stuff like that and
I'm
do
not
what you
saying
got to
anything,
do.
but-
I'm not saying you can. I'm also not saying you can't.
Right.
But just please don't bring it on
I'm
the
not
premises.
saying I won't join you.
I've said if you have dead air,
Yes.
it's because I'm not around probably, and you never know. I might be taking one of them rides around the block.
Yeah. Well, just be smart.
Basically, like you said in the beginning, Sideshow. It's a common sense.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to ruin this for everybody. No. You know what I mean? That's definitely something that they can't tolerate there. But hey, beforehand, come show up.
Do what you gotta do.
Do what you got to do. I'm all for that. We're going to be talking to you people out there as well, live on location there. We're going to be talking to the band, Bless Ed and Divine Derelicts there. Actually, you can check out some of their music on their Facebook page. They've also got some stuff on SoundCloud.
What is that Facebook page?
It's
Facebook /
It's just Bless Ed and the Divine Derelicts.
Cool.
You just put it under your search engine and stuff like that and get that going. It's going to be so much fun. We're going to be talking to Jay, the owner of Skinny's. Yeah, we'll be having a blast out there. I mean, this is just going to be fun for us, and it's an exciting thing. And our first of many, I'd like to say, some live broadcasts. So
I've been looking forward to some live broadcasts. So yeah, definitely, this is going to be cool.
yeah. So like I said, Skinny's is a great place. The raw bar is amazing. Their wings, their salads, their burgers or sandwiches. They're actually going to have some. I think they're doing like a jerk chicken with plantains and rice, kind of like the Caribbean kind of thing. And, I think they said they're going to make some like cool munchy food, like loaded chili cheese tater tots or something. I mean, it's just going to be great. So we're going to keep plugging this, in the weeks to come and stuff like that. But check it out. If we invited you, definitely come up, show up, stop by, have a good time, wear your, Team Sideshow shirts and whatnot. It's going to be a really great event for everybody. So basically, at that point, we've gone way over tonight. We just had so much to talk about, but we'd like to thank you for sticking around and listening. You guys have been great. We always love our listeners. We love our people that hashtag Team Sideshow, join the cause and support us on your Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. Again, please come out to that event on 420 at Skinny's Bar and Grill, 13228 US 19 in Hudson, Florida. That's on 420. It's on a Monday night. You got to come out and support the cause. We're going to actually probably next week, we got so much more stuff because, like I said, Stitch, he's the man when it comes to, finding news and articles and research. So, I mean, we're going to do a lot more stuff on the corruptness and these laws against marijuana and stuff like that in the state of Florida. I'd also like to thank my friend Kyra. Kyra was the one who sent me the link to that Joe Rogan speech that we did at the very beginning of the program. We're probably going to do other clips from that in future programs and go off that as well. So, one more episode under wraps. We had fun. We hope you guys enjoyed the show. We're going to be back next week with another awesome edition of Blunt Talk Radio, where everything is blunt and right to the joint. Ladies and gentlemen, remember, educate, legislate, medicate. I'm Sideshow. This is Stitch and Lou. We'll see you next week. Good night.
Are you disabled? Has your disability insurance company wrongfully denied paying your claim for benefits? Or maybe you didn't even know you had a long-term disability insurance policy through your employer. The smartest thing you can do right now is call the Disability Group for help. Don't try to take on the insurance companies alone. Listen to how one phone call to the Disability Group has helped people just like you.
They were on my team. They were on my side. If anybody in my family needed, help, I would refer them to the Disability Group.
And you pay nothing unless you win your case and receive your benefits. The Disability Group will put you in touch with a nationally recognized and experienced team who will fight for your rights. Call the Disability Group right now for a free, no-obligation consultation. Remember, the call is free and could help you secure thousands of dollars a month in benefits. Dial 800-448-8604. That's 800-448-8604. Call 800-448-8604. Call now.